Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Bare naked, bare naked, bare naked, ABCs. Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss every Bare Naked Lady song alphabetically from 7 to Y. And
why? Because we love Bare Naked Ladies!
Especially Stephen Page. We love you, Stephen. Come on the show.
We love you, Steven. Come on the show.
Unless you're the fake Steven that wrote to us this week. In that case, don't come on the show.
That's just mean, by the way. That's just mean. I was so excited when it came through. Stephen Page commented on your post. I was like, oh, and then I was like, Stephen Page with a period after that. That's right. And then I was like, oh, and he also responded to 2 other people in the same exact. And I was like, oh, and then I checked the link and it was like, it's a blog. I was like, that's not right. And there's nothing on it. I'm like, that's just mean.
Yeah. The person luckily has been reported since then.
Oh, good.
It's just not okay for people to be doing that.
No, that's just a jerky thing to do.
It is.
Jerky. It's jerky.
Well, you know what's not jerky is that this is our last O song.
Oh my gosh.
We are done with the O faces.
Oh yeah.
You could even say that we put the period in the sentence. We put
the dot.
Microsoft is telling me I can't use a period there. I can tell because it turned my dot blue.
Oh, yeah.
My blue dot always gives away that I have to fix the sentence in post.
Man, I hate it when I have blue dots. Oh, wait.
While we wait for everyone else to join us, which isn't going to ever happen this week, they're too busy, I'm going to put on the song for everyone to sing listen to for tonight, which is Our Blue Dot.
Which nobody knows.
No, it was one of those ones that I didn't know about till I started searching down songs for BNL, and this one popped up, and I'm like, oh, great! We'll have to see whether or not I agree after listening to it this week.
Good one. Okay.
So, tonight's song is BNL's Ecological Message from 2014. If you've never heard it before, here is a quick snippet of Our Blue Dot.
This blue dot is the only shot we got. If it turns from blue to gray, there'll be no way to turn it back. That's not okay. It's our hometown. We won't let it burn down. It's only fair. Let's dream to dare. Fresh water, food, and air. Let's look after our blue dot.
Aaron's not here, so I can't torture him with where did this song come from.
He would probably guess Snack Time.
He probably
would. Songs influenced by Big Bang Theory or something weird.
Yeah, something odd. Or my other guess is that since he doesn't know it's not an album song, I think he would have guessed Silverball.
Oh, it could be. Yeah.
Because it really has a Silverball feel. And so it was a 2014 song, and it feels like a BNL Silverball song.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it really does.
So, I mean, if you love Silverball, if you really enjoyed that album, you're going to really enjoy this week's song.
Right. And it is a good song. I really do like this song. I was not familiar with it before, but I really like it. I do.
So this song was only released on iTunes Canada for the very longest time. You can find it now on iTunes around the world. You can also find it on SoundCloud, although I do recommend people going out and purchasing this on iTunes, so that way some of the money can go to a very good cause, which we'll get to.
Yeah, there's a lot of information about the cause.
Yes. Do you want to share so people aren't just sitting here listening to my voice all night?
Well, I know that it was part of David Suzuki's Blue Dot Tour, and he is a premier environmentalist in Canada, and he gathered, or somebody gathered, a variety of musicians to go on a tour across Canada to support the platform that David Suzuki was supporting. And there's David Suzuki's got his website, and
the big thing that he was really pushing was the trying to get the legislation through the Canadian Parliament to get it, and government to get it so that there was more health and healthy environment laws, specifically around the right to have clean air and clean water,
right,
for everyone. Like, everyone deserves to have clean air and clean water. It is a right, not a privilege.
His director of communications, Micaiah Prohl, basically said this is a coming together of people from all across Canada who are standing in this one common cause. That is, we all have this basic fundamental right to the bare necessities. Look for the bare necessities.
The simple bare necessities
of a life of dignity and health. Our right to healthy water, right to fresh air, our right to food. That's what this is all about. So that was his quote sung, obviously. I'm sorry, Disney, for violating anything. If I necessities. But it was the idea that humanity exists on a fragile and limited blue dot in space. And David Suzuki apparently is volunteering all of his time, not all of his time, but his time on this project, and any proceeds from the concerts across Canada, etc., would go to the foundation.
And I'm pretty sure, like, BNL never said anywhere what the money was going to for their song, but I'm pretty certain that any proceeds from this would go to the Our Blue Dot Tour or the David Suzuki Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he had a lot of artists like Neil Young, Raffi, because
Bruce Cockburn.
Bruce Cockburn, like Margaret Atwood, so an author. He had humanitarians and authors and all kinds of people.
But the people
artists, spoken word artists.
But the people that promoted this in Toronto, the people that got up and performed in Toronto, we had a number of people, but BNL was the last group that got up just before David did his presentation to everyone. And they were the ones that got to introduce him to the stage.
Well, also, he's posed twice, David Suzuki, as wearing nothing but a fig leaf. And that is an image I shall not get out of my head anytime soon. That's a lot.
I haven't seen that. But
well, it's through the CBC called The Nature of Things, and it's called 80 Things You Didn't Know About David Suzuki. And apparently, and there's a very, very interesting picture with just a fig leaf, and he's kind of there. He's there.
Well, at least the fig leaf is there.
He's called Science's Sexy Poster Boy. Now, granted, that was 22 years ago. I don't know if he still looks like that, but he was called Science's Sexy Poster Boy. So there. Now you know.
This foundation actually did a lot of good. It was only 7 years ago that this song and this foundation really began the Our Blue Dot tour to make things change. But in that 7 years, these are the accomplishments that they have made so far. 176 municipalities across Canada adopted the declarations recognizing citizens' rights to a healthy environment. And in the 2019 federal election, 107 of the 338 MPs signed the public pledge in support of it. The Blue Dot volunteers initiated 2 very popular House of Commons petitions to strengthen environmental protections in Canada. And Blue Dot's advocacy was instrumental in getting Bill C-28, which is an act to amend the Canadian Environmental Protection Act, tabled in Parliament in the spring of 2021, and it recognizes Canada's right to live in a healthy environment. They have really been pushing this. They haven't stopped, and they continue to try to make Canada a healthier place.
And it's so appropriate that BNL was part of this because they have they were a founding member of Bare Naked Planet, and have since 2004 have greened every tour date, offsetting over 300 metric tons of carbon, and obviously donated their time and effort to the Blue Dot Tour, etc. So
and they were part of Reverb, which was a big advocacy for the environment as well. And they did that for a number of tours as well. But yeah, they keep using ecological systems when it comes to all their tours to date.
So
and
do
even
you know,
in 2019 and 2020, they took a step further and saved a lot of time and energy and gas by just not touring at all.
yeah, they did do that. Did you know why it's called the Blue Dot?
I do not.
So you might know or have seen, and I've seen many times, the famous 1972 photo of Earth that was taken by Apollo 17. I don't know if you are as dorky as I am, but I am a huge historical space geek. Like I went to space camp when I was teacher of the year. All of us got to go to space camp. And during my year of service as a toy, which was what we call the state teachers of the year, the toys, we get to go to space camp. So
nice.
Space camp. So I got to be shuttle commander. I was so excited. I did the whole I did the whole training and everything. We did the spinny thing that was really awful, and horrendous. And we did the mock-up space shuttle stuff, and we had to learn how to land it. We did expeditions on the moon, and we were lunar scientists. Like, it was so much that we did. But so I'm a big space geek, and especially the Mercury and Apollo missions, like you name it, I've watched it. And I've got to meet Homer Hickam, who he wrote Rocket Boys, which was Sky, the movie, but it was called Rocket Boys, the book was, and the Colwood Way and all these things, because and he also helped train some of the astronauts for the Challenger mission, as well as many other missions. He was one of the major influences for the work that was done in Alabama, in Huntsville, where Space Camp is and where the Space Center is. But so
I gotta tell you, by the way, 10-year-old Tracy is extremely jealous at this point.
I should have worn my flight suit for tonight's.
My major aspiration as a 10-year-old was to be an astronaut. And to the point that at 11 and 12, I actually started getting jobs mowing lawns and delivering newspapers to start earning money to be able to pay for space camp. And then when I was 12 years old, I found out that they wouldn't accept anyone for being an astronaut that had glasses.
Yeah.
My heart was broken. I mean, had I known that later on they would remove that because technology, but I was heartbroken at that point and just gave up on it. But
But did you know that you can go to space camp as an adult, and they also have family space camp weeks, and space camp runs 51 weeks of the year. And they also have a visually impaired camp where they all of space camp and put everything into Braille, and even so you can shuttle the space. You can be the commander, pilot, navigator, everything. Blind student. They change everything special for visually impaired children. It's
amazing.
Magnificent. It is one of the greatest experiences of my life. I was even awarded the Right Stuff Medal, which they give one camper. I was so dorky the whole time. I was just totally, I can't even. Wes Kennedy was my team leader for the week, and I drove him crazy. I'm sure, Wes, if you ever hear this, I adore you, and you are inspiration to me. He's a teacher. He's a science teacher who then volunteers his time in the summer to be a team leader at space camp. But you can go as a family. I think my son and I might do that together next summer, is take a week. Huntsville's very warm, but go down and do the family one. So, and it's amazing. Oh, I jumped off a 100-foot tower and ziplined lake. And I'm afraid of heights. And I went to do it multiple times because it was so incredible. But anyway, so there was a photo of the Earth from the Apollo 17 astronauts that was taken from 45,000 kilometers away from 45,000 miles away, or kilometers away, which means like 2 miles. I don't know. But that photograph became known as the blue marble. Mm-hmm. Carl Sagan described a 1990 picture taken from 6 billion kilometers away by the unmanned Voyager 1 as the pale blue dot. So that's where we get our blue dot from.
It is. And Aaron had asked earlier when I introduced this song to him for this week, his question was, wait, is that inspired by Carl Sagan? Was it? I was like, I guessing yes, considering I knew what it was about.
However, this really is reflected in the song lyrics from Ed, but there was an ISS astronaut, International Space Station astronaut, Ron Garan, who said, when we look down at the Earth from space, we see this amazing, indescribably beautiful planet. It looks like a living, breathing organism, but it also, at the same time, looks extremely fragile, because it's really sobering to realize that little paper-thin layer is all that protects every living thing on Earth. And that is reflected in the lyrics of the song. So
the only lyrics.
Yeah. But it's really a beautiful.
I mean, the trouble with Tracy is this week is there is only one verse. I like the verse that's there, and I like the way he's singing it. There is only one verse.
There really is only one verse. Who is it?
I don't know how much time Ed had to pull this together, but we know that he wrote he wrote the history of everything in like one night.
Right.
He's capable of doing this, and yet he didn't write more than one verse, which is very sad to me. Like, he could have done more for this song.
But I think keeping it simple, I agree. I think there could have been another verse in there. But I kind of like the simplicity of it because it says a lot in a very short amount of information. But I think it's good for kids too. Like it's kind of like as a song. And I mean, they got way deep. Like, I keep thinking of the Big Bang Theory theme song and the amount of stuff they put into that. And I kind of wish they had grown a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I think they were walking a fine line between science and being globally aware environmentalists. So,
But I feel like the other song that they did with Chris Hatfield
oh my gosh,
has such it is so much better in terms of like actually having more information.
that was
and
brilliant. I
BNL
cried.
flavor.
I cried when I saw that where Ed is here and Chris is in space and they're playing the song together. Like that blew my mind. And it's like, this is magic. This
and in Zoomland today, that's extremely magical. Like we know how hard that is.
I know. And I keep thinking back to the first pictures that we got from the moon and the initial moon landing and just how incredible that must have been in 1969 to have this understanding that, wow, there is so much more out there. And this is incredible to know that we have humans that are exploring space at that level. And I wasn't born yet, but I can only imagine. Like I still kind of feel a little whenever I watch The Right Stuff or whenever I watch From the Earth to the Moon, which is the outstanding miniseries, or any of the pieces, Apollo 13, and I've read Gene Kranz's book. Gene Kranz was he was the main dude. He was the one that makes all the final decisions during the Apollo mission.
Yes.
But his famous line was, failure is not an option. And that's the title of his book. And just thinking about all of the computer that we have in our phone right now that could land somebody on the moon today. Mm-hmm. That the technology and everything that has come about as a result of the space program. And I know we're kind of going off in a way here, but just the idea that we are really this much, like Earth is this. We think we are everything.
And we're barely this
but
tiny
we're barely
little blue dot.
Anything.
Like we don't even reflect from
and
billions
it's like
of miles away.
You remember in Men in Black where at the very end it's like ping pong ball or whatever it was, like on
they're playing marbles with
they're playing marbles, that's right. And we're just another marble in this giant I'd like to believe there's things out there and people like Carl Sagan and Gene Roddenberry were ahead of their time, and Neil deGrasse Tyson and some of our science influencers today, that like it's just amazing to me what we haven't even put our toes in the water yet of what is possible in terms of science. I like the song simple.
Yes, it is very simple.
A little bit
and
of
it's not simple in a bad way. It's just very easy going, easy to listen to. And it's got a very simple message.
And does Kevin, I read somewhere that Kevin plays the sitar. No, I think it's that keyboard thing where we talked about before. I'm pretty sure that
the continuum, I would think that that's correct.
I heard it and I was like, that's that flat, whatever it was called, which I can't remember now.
Yeah, the continuum.
Down somewhere. But that's what it was. I'm pretty sure that was not a sitar. Goodness gracious.
No, it didn't sound like a sitar. I was like, I wasn't hearing it in this song.
So do you want the breakdown?
I would love to have the breakdown. But before we get to that real quick, I do want to say,
you messed up my,
just to kind of talk about the lyrics real quick.
You messed up my intro.
Well, I'll give you another chance.
Okay, I got it in.
Ed contradicts himself a little bit. I wish he had taken a little more time on the second half of the lyrics in that verse. We all believe our Earth is spherical. And as Ed will later on say in Tour de Force, unfortunately, that's not true. Everyone does not believe that, nor does everyone believe that evolution is proven.
Part 2 of this.
And matter of fact, Steven comes back later on and says, yeah, guess what? There are people that don't believe in gravity.
Right. I know, right? Isn't that funny? That's funny. We have those two songs from which, again, Steven wasn't part of this song, but it's funny that we have those two ideas that are in here in this song that have been like debated for some I don't know why reason.
Yes.
Yeah, like, the earth is flat. What?
Yeah. I agree with the song that we'll end up coming back to about 3 years from now, it feels like, with Ed talking about flat earth. Right. Because I absolutely agree. It is nearly impossible to talk with the people that believe such things. And he does say that in the sentence before that of, how do you get someone to believe in something they can't actually see? Right.
And that's an interesting line, because it's like the Santa Claus theory. You know, if you don't believe it, how do you know it's there?
Although I do find it ironic.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, I find it ironic that the people who believe in flat earth, the high majority of them believe in some sort of higher being, like God, a Christian God, or along those lines, something they also cannot see.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with you. I think that, like, I like this blue dot is the only shot we've got. If it turns to blue to gray, there'll be no way to turn it back. That's not okay. I think I think he could have done better with that, to turn it back.
Especially that last rhyme.
It's our hometown. We won't let it burn down. But I think that line could have been better too. Like,
it feels like Ed was given 24 hours to write this.
Yeah, that's almost like, I agree. It's only fair. Let's dream to dare, fresh water, food, and air. I like that line, let's look after our blue dot. I like that. And I like this blue dot is the only shot we've got. If it turns to blue to gray, there'll be no way. I like that.
I like that. The very beginning.
I don't
and
like
very
it's
end.
Our home down. We won't let it burn down. Because
yeah, and I don't like turn it back. That's not okay. Like,
right. Yeah.
That could have used a rewrite.
And I like the verse. If you could stand back far enough and take a look from outer space, you'd see that our atmosphere is paper thin with 7 billion people and all life within. And I do appreciate his sentiment here, but how do you get someone to believe in something they can't see? We all believe our earth is spherical. I think you're right. I think he would update. I would like to see, come on, Ed, we love you. Please come on the show. I would love to see how he would rewrite it. Because now we're almost 10 years out.
And people still don't all believe it.
What?
And people still don't all believe it.
No, and in fact, I mean, he just wrote Flat Earth for Detour de Force. Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the stuff that's happened in the last 8 years, I'm sure he could add a lot more to this to make it a lot. I like the bridge, our blue dot, as far as we can see, our blue dot, there's no planet B. I like that.
I do like that.
Plan B, planet B, there's no backup.
Yep.
And so I do appreciate that, but I think he could have done a little bit more there. This is something that I think you're right. I think he jotted it down fairly quickly, and he was like, "Oh, okay, let's go with this." But I think the lyrics could have been a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I would have liked some strengthening of the chorus, and I would have liked another verse, because that verse that we have is a pretty strong verse. I would like another one. So. But this is what we have. It is what we have. We have to kind of look at what we have here. The other thing that we have here that I don't know, I'm not sure. I don't like one of the things that we do have with this song. He uses it more effectively, again, on Detour de Force, interestingly enough. But it's those backgrounds. Yep. Hey.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, I'm like, it doesn't match in with the song or the point of the song.
I get that. I mean, it's upbeat and kind of fun. It's like, it's very commercial jingle to me.
Yes.
Like the chorus, especially, our blue dot is the only one we've got. I can see that being like in a commercial.
Yes.
I can see that being like Got Milk or Got Earth or something like that. But I don't hate it. I like the music. I like, but the more I rip apart the layers, I'm like, I think Ed could have done better. I love you, Ed. Please don't take that as a nasty, but from musician to musician, from songwriter to songwriter, I think that I bet you Jeff would agree with me, right, Jeff? Oh yeah, Heidi, I totally would agree with you on. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound at all like Weird Al or like They Might Be Giants, and I think They Might Be Giants would have done a better job with these lyrics. You know what, Jeff? I really appreciate that point. I think that you're right there. So yeah, Heidi, I do. I think you could have done better. I'm going to rewrite this song and do a parody of the Blue Dot with better lyrics. Okay, Jeff. Well, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate you being here because we miss you. All right.
Go work on that right now.
Yeah, go work on that while you're busy getting famous with your new album. So there you go. You want me to do Aaron too? Yeah. I'll do Stefan. I give it a 3. It's got a good beat, but I can't dance to it because I don't dance.
Stefan, Aaron, Jeff, we know you listen to us. Come on the show.
We know you listen to us. Come on the show. We're going off the rails because there's only 2 of us to stay on them.
But Ed does do a better job because he with ISS is somebody singing. That's a much better song.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's so much more complex lyrically, at least. I don't know about musically, obviously, and I should pass it over to you at this point since I haven't yet to do our musical breakdown.
I'd like to point out that I have the exact same flight suit that Chris Hadfield has. Like, I have that.
Oh.
Well, I have my flight suit, which isn't exactly like his. I don't have like the ISS patch or anything, but I got some cool patches. And I have a medal, a Right Stuff medal. So there.
Take that.
So the breakdown here is fairly simple too. The key of D. It's basically a 1-5-4. You've got a B minor in there, which is a minor 6 chord. But it basically does the same thing over and over again. 1, 5, 4, 6, 5, 4, 5. So it just kind of goes around that chord progression. You get in the verse, he starts on the minor 6 chord and then brings you back to the 5 chord at the end of the verse. And he does in the bridge, throws in a C add 9. Sorry, Jeff, you weren't here, but he does that awesome C add 9 to the G, to the D, to the G, to the D, to the C add 9, to the G, to the D, to the C add 9, to the G. So it's a very basic, only a few chords in the song. But I think they and I was listening to it like several times again today, and I almost feel like they added too much stuff musically. Like there's a lot going on there, and I don't know, were they trying to compensate for the lyrics, or were they just having fun and making it sound kind of spacey, which I do like Kevin's work in this. But I don't know. Like I there's a lot going on. It's fun. Like I do like that it's fun. But I wonder if it's too fun for the message. I don't know.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a fun song. I would go so far as to say it's a pleasant song.
Yeah, I could agree with you on
that. And it's the word that I wrote in my review was non-offensive. Like it doesn't inspire any real feeling for me, and I think that's my problem.
It's what you say when a student has a very interesting like poem that they wrote, or your son has brought home this art project. No, my son has amazing art projects. But you're on that art project and you're like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's unoffensive.
It's that level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
It doesn't. I use non-offensive when it inspires no emotional reaction to me.
Oh,
and
I appreciate that.
That's what this song is to me. It doesn't inspire any feelings.
And I think it could be better. There's so much more that I think they could have said. But there are some great lyrics in it. I just think there could be more lyrics in it to really make the statement that they're trying to make.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not looking for them to be like Neil Young type lyrics and be all angry and say,
no,
you do this because we're murdering our lands, and I love Neil Young too, don't get me wrong. But BNL come from a different side of things. But I think for the message part, I mean, I could see people like singing along to the chorus because it's kind of fun. Let's look after our blue dot.
So I'm gonna take issue with that for a second. I'm gonna disagree with you.
Okay.
I couldn't see people going along and singing along with this unless they're like in concert. And the reason I say that is this week I would look at the lyrics and I'd be like, oh, how does that go again?
But I could see them up on stage going, our blue dot, our blue,
yes.
Our blue, let's look after our blue dot. Like, and if you can't see me, I'm pointing to an imaginary audience, which is Tracy's head.
I could see them
and
doing
generating
that, but I couldn't see them being inspired. Well, that's the thing. They would have to generate it.
I agree with you.
It does not naturally inspire it. It does not. There are songs like Gonna Walk. People naturally are going to call and respond to that one. And people don't know. Like, we just came back from the Stephen Page concert.
Yeah.
They did not need to tell us.
This was definitely a tough song to do right after hearing that concert.
It was.
And I am just waiting with bated breath to find out where and when he's back this summer.
I know.
There in an instant.
Because he did say
he'd be coming back. Transformational nights. And like I said, I've probably seen them, 20 plus times. And with Stephen and without Stephen. And that, I think, was better than most of the BNL concerts I saw. Like, it was so incredible. If anybody has the chance to see Stephen Page, he is touring now in intimate settings, and you go. It is so fantastic. Did you see that he did Straw Hat in Boston? He did Straw Hat. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, not that I would take any of the other. Well, okay, I might have taken Linda Ronstadt off to swap out Straw Hat.
I like that song though. I
like it.
I was very surprised that he put more BNL songs in than I expected. I expected he was a lot more from his albums. But I was not. I really loved every bit of it. So.
I think it says a lot when I say that the weakest song that he played the whole entire night was Linda Ronstadt in the 70s. Like, that was the weakest song, and that is not a weak song.
No, it is not.
It was. And it's funny because every song followed by every other song was just like oh my gosh, yes.
The set list that I got for you,
thank you.
You can just type in that set list because I want to remember for the rest of my life. What that set list
I've got
was.
photocopies for you.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. Because I was thinking there were some songs that I heard and I felt like I was hearing them again for the very first time, and I liked them.
Yep.
Some of the things I just liked better. And then I played the album in my office today. I needed there's a melody for certain. Like I found the new album in my office, and I was like, yeah, this. I don't know why, because that is a super simple song, but that just brought so much out of that just added so much to my heart. Like something just so wonderful about that experience. And again, if you see that Stephen Page is on tour, don't be like, oh, well, it's not Bare Naked Ladies, so I don't want to see him by himself. Trust me, go, and go.
His chemistry with Kevin Fox and Craig Northey was
Lanta.
phenomenal.
It's just so I miss the old days too of the dance breaks and Steven with all that energy, jumping and dancing and, the kicking of legs and all of the things, the craziness of early Steven. And I miss those parts, but I totally crushed out on Steven, and I never crushed on Steven. I loved him, sedate. But sitting in front, I was like, I am adding you to my top 5 list. If it happens to my husband and, you're not with a significant other, Steven, we're close age. And I was totally fangirling out. And I was like, he has become so much, I don't know. There's something more introspective, more thoughtful. I think he's more handsome now than he was when he was younger. And that's not about but I don't know. I've just become I was totally away.
The difference for
Even
me,
I promise I'm not a stalker, and I won't. I promise to be good if you ever want to come on the show. I promise.
The difference for me was, did he have the running and jumping and dance breaks? No. What he did have that he didn't have before, or has had the last couple tours that he's done that he didn't have in the past, is a maturity, a wisdom, and more importantly than anything, there was emotionality behind every single song. The emotionality that you get behind Break Your Heart and Brian Wilson and all of those songs was in every single song that he was singing, and it didn't matter what the song was or what he was singing about.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And again, a lot of that comes with age, and not to get too away from our blue dot, but again, I want to give props and let people know, go see him. He will be touring a lot. Yes. Kevin and Craig, and don't let that keep you away. That, well, it's not BNL. It's not like go and see him.
Go with a idea that it's a different concert. It is an intimate and powerful and emotionally wrecking concert.
Yeah, it really was.
BNL is going to be uplifting and fun and joyous. Steven is fun and joyous and laughing in his own way, but the emotional...
And when you're sitting there the whole time going, he's playing Conventioneers, oh my God. And Aaron and I would look at each other and we were like fist pumping. And then he played Powder Blue. And I was like, holy cannoli. And Aaron's like, I now have a new appreciation for that song. And now I need to check that out because it's brilliant. I was like, I know it is good. And granted, we get to cover that in the Peas, which is one of my favorite songs ever. Because again, it's a brilliant lyric, but I just, and I can't wait to see BNL this summer. I can't. So excited. But for different reasons. Like we're not going to go back, just like Steven's never going to go back. We've all aged. We are all now in the middle of our lives. You and I are the same age. Are we the same age?
Pretty much, yeah. We're only a year or two apart. Probably. That looks right.
I was born in January.
I edit that out.
But it's we all, and I think that might be too, is we all have a different appreciation and a different relationship with the things that we loved when we were younger, and hearing them differently now, I think adds, I don't know, there was something very magical. And I've gone to a lot of concerts from a lot of people. And I would put that in my, probably one of my top best favorite concert experiences of all time. Absolutely.
That one goes honestly up there with me with seeing BNL for the first time.
Yeah.
and seeing Weird Al for the first time. Like it is up there on my top 5 concerts of all time.
And I mean, the first time I saw BNL was at Mix Fest in Boston. So it was a mix of all artists. Ben Folds, like it was way back when Mix Fest was a thing, and BNL did it every year. And that year it was in Suffolk Downs. And I went with my best friend, and it was like, I think Macy Gray was on that concert. Yeah, she was, because she swore a lot. And Berries were on that concert. So it was a crazy, awesome lineup. And Bare Naked Ladies was the last. They were like the big band at the end. And it was amazing. It was the first time I had ever seen them live. And I was so excited. So that concert was like, wow. And then the first time I saw them by themselves was wow. And then I saw them so many times, I can't really define which ones were the better over time. But, and I have some bootlegs. I got to find my cassette tape bootlegs and see if I can get them put digitally, because I've got some good bootlegs from the concerts that I went to. I mean, I never recorded any concerts that I went to ever.
No.
Only
the play Everything to Everyone tour that they were recording everything anyway.
Right, of course.
Just those ones.
I especially didn't record the one, the Christmas show in Hartford, where they noticed my sign and talked to me. I didn't that one at all. I didn't remember.
No.
Yeah.
But to bring us back,
to our Blue Dot.
Here's my problem with this song.
Okay, your song problem. This is the trouble with Tracy.
Oh, there's many on this song.
This is the 47th trouble with Tracy.
This is supposed to be an inspiring song.
It
is supposed to be a song that makes you want to join this powerful see, I can't even find the right word for this. Like, it's supposed to make you want to go out and make the earth a better place and inspire you to do your best and be your best person to make this earth a better place. It's supposed to inspire you to want to sing along with it. And I couldn't even remember the tune. If I were in concert, I would respond. I'd do a call and answer, but it's not. I'm not singing along with it in the car. It's not something when I walk around school that I'm like, oh yeah, that song, and sing it with me. Matter of fact, this week I sang Passcode walking through the halls, more that we'll be discussing next week, more than I sang this week's song.
I love that song.
That's my problem. Like, this song should be catchy and memorable and inspiring.
Yeah, this was a hard one, and maybe if we'd have done it later, I don't think.
I don't think it had anything to do with this week in the concert and anything. I think that it's a mediocre song from Ed. It is far from his best. He can write inspirational songs.
Oh, yeah.
He can write.
And I wonder, like, what
songs.
was his approach to this song? Like, you're right. Was it like a 20-minute bathroom napkin, or like a hotel napkin song? Or was he like told, hey, make sure you get this line, or read this article and see if you can come up with this, or read my platform from David Suzuki. Read my website and see if you can come up with a cool song. Here's a great article about the blue dot and the picture and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what shall we rate it?
I was thinking, since there are 5 levels to our atmosphere, that we would rate this how many atmospheres this song is.
Okay.
So how high up in the atmosphere would you say that this song takes you?
All right. So I'm going to give this, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. I do like a lot of parts of it. So I will give it 2 atmospheres out of 5, which is the lowest Heidi score I think ever.
I think it is, actually.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to pull that up and see. Hold on.
And granted, I've only been exposed to this song for a week. So Like, I never knew this song existed. Am I going to put it on my Heidi's Happy Tunes playlist? No. Would I listen? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, this is your lowest score.
Give it a 2, atmosphere of 2. Sorry, Ed. I don't, please take that personally. It's not personal, it's music.
Yeah. Nothing personal about that. And I think that's part of my problem with this song is it's not personal. It's not it's not Ed, to me at least. I don't feel Ed in this song.
Yeah, I get
except
that.
Except for in the verse. The verse, I feel Ed, and that's why I think I want more verses, because I can feel his interest in this in that verse. But I don't get it in the chorus. There's so many more that I like over this. Pretty much most. Am I going to change the channel on it? Probably not, but am I going to listen to it? Am I going to really kind of hear what it's saying and have it dig in? No. I agree with what Ed's saying, but it wouldn't inspire me to want to do anything if I didn't already agree. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a troposphere, a stratosphere, and a little bit of the mesosphere.
Oh, you're going spherical. Okay.
I'm going to give it a 2.85. Here is Aaron's review of this week's song. Our Blue Dot. You know, this isn't an amazing tune that musically is going to blow anyone away, but it is a nice tune. It's fairly catchy, and it has a really important message. I wish I had been able to make it for the live discussion, because I really would have loved to have seen Stefan and I sort of arguing for its place in the 3s, with Tracy and Heidi apparently putting it in the 2s. As I said, I don't think it's amazing. Perhaps it would be a straight 3, but the important environmental message and the allusion to Carl Sagan in the title, as well as the lyric, "There is no planet B," kicked it up just a little for me. I would give Our Blue Dot 3.2 atmospheres out of 5.
I thought it was very catchy. I think it had a great beat to it, a great sound to it. And at first, I'm like, I didn't know what they were talking about. I'm like, a blue dot. I'm like, this has got to be on a children's album. And I'm like, why would they sing about a blue dot? And then I kind of figured out that they're talking about the Earth. And I'm like, oh, look, it's I'm like, it's about our planet, about not destroying the planet that we're on. And I'm like, how nice is that? That's real nice. So I liked it. I thought it had a great beat to it. I thought the message was pretty decent, and I would be able to listen to that song again, most definitely. So what was the ranking for that song?
So the ranking for that song was how many atmospheres do you give this song?
Oh, how many atmospheres? Oh gosh.
Because there's 5 layers to the atmosphere.
Is there? I was thinking of scuba diving. How much pressure is in an atmosphere? So, well, I might need a nitrogen tank for this song, because I thought it was quite good. I thought this song was a good, I'd say a 3.75 in my book.
Wow.
I know. I like the beat. The lyrics were good. It's poignant. If it's directed towards kids, then I think that's a good message. Don't kill the world you're in. But that's the funny thing, is nobody knows how to do that. So the world has existed and has been fine long before humans. So why do we think that we could make it better? When we dabble in things, we make things worse.
We'll end up making it worse, and then the planet will end up taking care of us. It will either take care of us or it will take care of us.
Wow. I'm the Heidi haterade this week. I'm never the haterade.
You're never the hater.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not going to change
But
it.
mine's not very much higher.
Maybe I'll change it next year or in the year in review.
Something that did bring a smile to my face this week was listening to a very early version of If I Had $1 Million.
Aww.
So that was kind of fun to watch. It's not much different, but it's just fun to watch them.
That probably always brings a
Very
smile
young.
to my face.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I think this song was most likely inspired by the project that Ed did with Chris Hatfield. Like, I think that might have been part of the inspiration.
It could have been.
Do you think that Chris maybe gave Ed the key to the ISS? Wait, no. That's the ISS wouldn't have a key. I guess maybe it has a passcode. Do you think maybe he gave him that passcode?
He might have
to
given
ISS?
the passcode. He might have. You know, you shouldn't give your passcode out to just anybody.
No, I was going to say that Ed probably wouldn't share it with
Probably
Kevin.
not.
Because Kevin Kevin doesn't mind sharing the passcode to his heart with everyone.
Yeah, he likes to, he does like to share. He's a giver. That Kevin Heard, he's a giver.
He is. So you wouldn't want to share the ISS passcode with him?
No, probably not.
But next week we get to discuss whether or not we want him to share his passcode with us.
That's true. I'd like him to share his passcode with me.
Thanks, that was fun. Don't forget, no regrets, except maybe one.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.